Gaelic football on Off the Ball.
With AIB, proud sponsors of the GAA Senior Football Championship. Check out #TheToughest for more.
Yeah, on Saturday afternoon, Westmeath were crowned the inaugural Tailteann Cup champions, beating Cavan 214 to 113 at Croke Park. As I say, the first time that this competition has been played and definitely taken seriously by both of those counties involved in the final, and indeed the ones that preceded them. And celebrations so intense that Adrian Barry has not been seen in the Off the Ball offices since Saturday afternoon. Last scene we heard whirling his shirt over his head, completely topless and completely pale, down the streets of Mullingar. To join us and look back on those events of Saturday and what's gone after them as well, I guess, to a degree, the Westmeath manager Jack Cooney and also their championship top scorer John Heslin. Lads, you're very welcome to the show. Congratulations first of all.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Richie.
Jack, we'll turn to you first. It was an incredible scene, I think, afterwards. Any doubts that anybody may have had about the Tailteann Cup, I'm sure just dissolved in an instant once they saw the reception that you guys got heading back over county lines on Saturday evening. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and I think probably the finish of the game probably added to that as well. You know, it was an exciting finish to a competitive game. And I kind of always felt, you know, once we got a couple of games, or once the tournament or the Tailteann Cup got a couple of games under its belt, that it was going to evolve and it was going to gather traction. And you know, a couple of visits up to Croke Park for any county and their supporters was going to generate interest and support. So it worked out that way, which is great.
John, how were the celebrations for you? Have they died down any? Were you surprised by how full on they were when you got back to Mullingar?
Look, I suppose it was a great few days. We didn't expect for there to be such a crowd. You know, Jack might have been informed that there was the stage and all that sort of thing. We obviously, as players, focusing on the game, didn't expect any of that. And I was lucky. I got to go to the front of the bus and I got to see the whole thing coming in. It was unreal. Like, when I saw the crowd, I couldn't get over it. And the next day, Jack and I were just saying we did a bit of a tour. Sometimes you think you're just going touring the county and having a good time, but we actually toured the county and went to Mount Temple, Castletown, Moat, Athlone, and saw loads of kids. Like, there was kids everywhere. We were just saying that they need to build a statue of Robbie Ford in Moat because I think he's the most famous person down there ever. So it was brilliant.
Jack, like, it's absolutely superb, and I guess it underlines what this competition can do for a county. I mean, it's not as if, you know, Westmeath are, obviously we've got the standalone Leinster Championship from 2004, but it's not as if they've been miles away from the pinnacle of Leinster over the past few years. There have been a couple of Leinster finals down along the line. You've obviously were involved in proceedings in 2004, but to see what difference a piece of silverware can make and what a little bit of success can make to the people of the county has got to be absolutely massive.
Yeah, I think it's very important, you know, for any county, particularly a county who are developing and searching for something, that they climb those famous steps of the Hogan Stand, you know, once a generation, because it provides a really, really good experience for supporters and particularly younger supporters. So we knew, you know, we had 4 games in the Tailteann Cup to win it. And if we could create a really, really good positive experience, and we did focus on the younger generation in Westmeath, that it would provide them with something that could give them a little bit of hope and belief, maybe to invest their time in Westmeath in the future. And we were that's just the way it turned out. You know, you were kind of, it's not that we're any great prophets or anything like that, but experience would tell me, you know, there's nothing like a championship win. There's especially nothing like a championship win in Croke Park. It generates a different sense of something. And then to get a couple of those, the young supporters come out in their thousands to support it and to respond to it.
Jack, your attention towards the competition was almost immediate after that semi-final loss in Leinster to Kildare, wasn't it?
Well, here's the thing, Richie. If we had bet Kildare and we put in a really good performance against Dublin, and I don't know, maybe we could have bet them, and maybe we wouldn't have bet them, but we wouldn't have got the same reception having lost the Leinster final coming back to Mullingar. I can tell you that for sure. And so I'm delighted the way it worked out in the end. And again, you never want to lose a game in Croke Park or in any competition, but the Tailteann Cup provided us a great opportunity to rebound and to respond. And I think the lads really embraced that and went for it.
What was the reaction after that Kildare game when Jack turned to you, John, and turned to the rest of the panel and said, we're going to go full bore into this thing? Was it a hard sell for some of you, or was everybody on board from the jump?
No, I think everybody was on board. I think naturally enough, there would have been some uncertainty as to what the competition is going to bring. But I think we're very lucky with the environment that we have down at training, and compliments to Jack and the management team for that, because we actually genuinely like going down and training as a unit. We train hard, but we enjoy it as well. And we're blessed with our facilities in Wolfhound, our strength and conditioning, the gym we use, and like the environment that we get down there. So I think that as long as the season was going to continue, we would get buy-in for it, because it's such a good environment down there. And look, they were good competitive games, and playing in Croke Park, and then the opportunity to win a bit of silverware, that's a great prize to have. So no, it was brilliant at the start. We got buy-in straight away. I think what Jack said there about maybe getting to Leinster final and playing Dublin and whatnot, Kildare went on and played Dublin and they got beaten, and it was a difficult year for them, and we've been in that position before. When you play Dublin, if you get beaten by so much in a particular game, it's hard to pick things back up. Whereas when we lost to Kildare, we probably felt that we didn't do ourselves full justice either. So that's why we had to kick on in the Tailteann Cup as well.
One of the things that's kind of jumped out at me as regards this competition, John, is that a lot of people bemoan the fact that the inter-county season now seems a bit, skewed one way, and that it's all over by, mid-July, and that, we've getting the All-Ireland finals coming up to us now, and we should be waiting perhaps until September under, in old money, essentially. But the change in season seems to have worked in favour of the Tailteann Cup, because players who might have been knocked out early in the championship, you were at such a point in the calendar that you were more tempted, I guess, to go away or, to seek other opportunities throughout the summer, whereas there's still a chance to compete in really tough matches and then go away and have a summer after that. Was that the case for some of the panel members there?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that, in years gone by, we would have had lads going on J1s and things like that. We don't think we've lost anyone this year. Don't think there's anyone planning to go at this stage either. I think it's too late. But no, I think the split season, yeah, look, it definitely paid its dividends. But there was people saying at the weekend that they enjoyed watching our game more than the Derry Galway game, So while we always talk about winning a Sam Maguire, etc., people like watching good competitive games, and when teams are playing against the level that they're at, that's typically what you get. So no, it was exciting. Great to win with all the lads, and now we're gearing up for the club championship where we're going to be all playing against each other.
No rest for the wicked, certainly. Jack, were you disappointed that you didn't get your own standalone day in Croke Park? I know it was the curtain raiser to that Galway Derry game, and I know we'd raise the questions here of, the semi-final weekend seemed to have been such a success that it focused a lot of people's attentions on the competition that might have been there before, and maybe got the neutral involved who mightn't have been involved before, mightn't have been on board with it. So to see it revert back to being a curtain raiser, was that a disappointment as far as you were concerned, Jack?
I don't think so. I wouldn't consider that at all. I think the competition is going to evolve. I think that the success that it has turned out to be this year, I think more counties are really going to focus in on it, from next year. There's a possibility of maybe getting a standalone sponsor. I don't know. I think there's huge possibilities there for it to evolve and develop. It's the inaugural year. I'm sure the GAA will reflect on it and see how they can improve it. But us being the curtain raiser on Saturday certainly didn't take away from our enjoyment of it. I don't think it took away from the supporters' enjoyment of it. And I think the fact that it was in Croke Park added to it, and that there was upwards of 70,000 people at it. I think at the end of our game, or near enough to the end of our game, I think it was also very exciting for everybody involved.
In terms of trying to go and get a sponsor for next year or beyond, I think what everybody has done in the competition so far has certainly done a magnificent PR job for it. I remember listening to John Maughan speaking before the semi-final on Offaly's behalf, and the buy-in that they had certainly was huge. And from young Derby picking up that knee injury, and they were distraught that they were going to miss out on what was essentially, for all intents and purposes, a really high-level championship game. And that's how pretty much everybody from the outside looking in seemed to be treating this thing, Jack.
Well, here's an interesting thought. I was thinking about it today. Like a Tailteann All-Star, like there's going to be Tailteann All-Stars, and that's a great accolade for players. So why not have the Tailteann All-Stars play the Sam Maguire All-Stars in Dubai next year? So what's wrong with that?
Why can't it be in Croke Park? Why does it have to be in Dubai, Jack?
Dubai would be nice to go to.
John, are you similarly angling for a trip to Dubai in that way?
Yeah, well, that sounds a great idea to me. Anyone wants to include me in that, they can. Good idea, Jack.
Yeah.
We'll need a few managers as well, Jack. So.
Yeah, well, I'll see if I'll be available for that. No, I'm not being presumptuous at all.
Like it is brilliant that the PR that this has done and the celebrations and all that kind of stuff, and it does give a platform for sides like yourselves, John. I mean, even going back to the league, like you're a kick of a ball against Fermanagh away from potentially being promoted to Division 2. So it's not as if you're a million miles away from achieving something, pretty good for Westmeath football that can maybe last going into the next 4, 5, 6 years, maybe beyond. But certainly this acts as a nice foothold for everybody to kind of show, listen, this is what's possible from this group of players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that game at the weekend, Jack, was our 6th championship game this year. Not sure the exact one around that. But there would have been lads now that got game time in the Tailteann Cup that mightn't have gotten game time in the league or even against and had the championship just finished for us. Some of our younger lads might not have gotten that experience this year. Whereas the likes of Robbie Ford, Charlie Drum, they played game time in the Tailteann Cup, and it was great for them, their development, and bring them on to the next level. And as we've said already, winning is fantastic for us. It's fantastic for Jack. We'll look back at it in years to come and really remember it. But for me, it was just special over the last few days for all the younger people, in particular, because in 10, 15, 20 years when I'm finished playing, I'll be able to watch the next generation, or maybe emulate Jack and manage or something like that. But you're developing the future, and I think that was the special piece about it, because when they see us winning and us up on stage, they now know we're not great singers, because we were singing great, but they saw the silverware. They look, for all intents and purposes, we were famous people at the weekend, and they wanted to be up there. They want to maybe one day achieve the same thing. So it was brilliant, because I said it to someone else today that the first person I met coming down off the stage was David O'Shaughnessy, captain of Westmeath when they won it in 2004. And I never forget him coming down off the bus with the trophy. And I got down off the trailer, and there he was wanting me to get a picture with him and his kids. So that's just the way it goes, and that's the beauty of the game. And we're just privileged that we had that opportunity again.
Jack, you've been involved in I guess a lot of the key moments now in Westmeath football gone down through the years, considering your 22-year involvement with the side. You were there in 2004. You've seen what these things can do for the county. This is going to be huge. Yeah,
it's no coincidence, Richie, that Westmeath started doing well when I gave up playing. So it was in around the early noughties. We actually started doing well and winning stuff when I hung up the boots. Yeah, so I was involved. There were just a special bunch of players back in the noughties, and pushed on from there and won it in 2004, and great memories and magical times. And but the current bunch of lads are the same. They just I think that the big benefit from the Tailteann Cup is that we got to spend the next 8 weeks together. This time of the year we were playing earlier rounds of the league in stormy conditions, almost difficult to try and even hold the ball. So to be able to prepare and spend time together on the training pitch this time of the year it's a big benefit. It's a huge benefit.
John, I read a piece with Jack before the semi-final, I think it was, where he mentioned that he tries to make things, training fun in particular for the squad, and you've alluded to it there. What kind of stuff does John do to bring a bit of levity to the situation in training, because it seems to be a common thread running through there?
Yeah, I can't give away too many top secrets now. Jack usually forgets his watch or his phone. Wouldn't be a great keeper of time. We could be out on the pitch for 3 or 4 hours, and that's actually not a joke. But look, I think everything, there's no one element as such that we try and bring the fun. It's just that environment that we're down there. We push ourselves hard. Jack pushes us hard, and we push management hard too, to get answers, going into games. But I think that, when you with a group of players, when you are all striving to achieve something, and pushing yourself, and you're doing that together, I think that's where the sense of enjoyment and fulfillment comes from. So look, whether it be our 7 or 8 hour training sessions at the weekend, or a gym session in Wolfhound that we get as Jack likes to call it, a good sweat on the brow. It's just a good environment to be there. And as I said, when you're just trying to push yourself all the time, that's where the reward and the fun comes inevitably at the end of the day.
Yeah, Gaelic Football on Off the Ball in partnership with AIB, proud sponsor of the GA Senior Football Championship. Check out #TheToughest for more. Jack, I'm going to give you the right to reply there. As regards forgetting you're watching and involving them in 8 hour, 9 hour training sessions or whatever it is. Like that image I had the other day of Antonio Conte making his Spurs players run and making Harry Kane spew at the side of the pitch. Are you that much of a taskmaster with them?
I don't think so, Richie. I know we have good fun, and we have we train for an hour. We have a Cooney hour every Tuesday and Thursday, and sometimes it kind of goes a little bit beyond that. But I know it's good. We have good fun, and here's another thing, Richie. We have great people involved. God, we're blessed. We have. Hez mentioned Joe and Katie and Angle there in Wolfhound, but we have performance, and the amount of people that actually contribute and get in behind the lads to make the whole thing better and enjoyable. There's so much work, and they get tremendous enjoyment out of it as well. So it's great. Look, it's mighty. It's great fun at the end of the day. Sure, what else would you be doing on a Saturday evening?
Exactly, and winning a bit of silverware, going back down home and making thousands of people back in your home county ecstatic. That's a standard Saturday evening's work, John.
Yeah, if we could do it more often, it'd be great. That's what someone said to me. He said that let this be a platform for Westmeath to go on and achieve more in the coming years. That'd be great.
What would the ceiling be for this squad, do you reckon, John?
I'll have to leave that to the boss man to answer that question. I'm just trying to keep going and trying to keep up with the young lads all the time. That's my personal thing. I think for the team, Jack, I might leave that one for you to answer.
Here's the thing. We never really. When we start out at the start of the season, we literally just go week on week, and we focus and we want to improve. It's cliched or whatever. And I'm probably robbing somebody else's line or somebody else's story, and that's how we go. And we just try to be better every week. And I think the huge benefit this year is that we brought in younger fellas as well, younger fellas who know that they have to invest time in their body and in learning the game and the tactical awareness and all of that. It takes time to get up to the intensity, and we focus a lot on that in training. And I think they've got a really, really good experience now. So hopefully we've planted a seed that they're going to invest, because we all know there's a lot of commentary around it. This is more than a Tuesday, Thursday weekend pastime for players. It's probably it's a lifestyle, really. And you commit to it, and the lads have done that. Like every county player does it now. And that, I think it's a great way of life for players. And I think every county player now embraces that. They know what they have to do, and Westmeath lads are probably no different now, to be honest.
It probably makes you feel like, John, it's given you another couple of years, this kind of boost.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. That would be ideal. But I think what Jack says there, bringing the younger lads in, and that tends to lead to the good environment as well. It's good energy down there. But it does take a lot to get to a level where we want to get to as well, and get the best out of ourselves. But that tactical piece, reading the game, and there is a lot of learnings in that, and it doesn't just happen overnight. So hopefully that, particularly the lads who've just come in for, in the first couple of years, that they can see that it's worth it. We didn't obviously get to experience something like this before, but all those hours and training sessions that you put in and trying to learn the game, it's when you get to win something like the weekend, it pays its dividends,
Yeah, and a tribute as well to one of your teammates for the past decade or more, John. Kieran Martin coming off the bench, scoring that decisive goal, and one of the pictures that really jumped out at a lot of people in the wake of Saturday's game was that picture of him embracing the family of Owen Farrell, his clubmate who had passed away quite recently. That's got to have been quite an emotional occasion for him, both leading into the match and then subsequently as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, first of all, speaking, for Kieran is a remarkable man, and I'm delighted that he got to play at the weekend, and obviously I'm delighted he scored his goal too. I still don't know how he scored it. I texted him Sunday morning and asked him for an explanation, because we do see him do that regularly in training. Jack, let's be honest, he can carry 5 or 6 lads at a time, but to do it in Croke Park is quite special, and would be forever grateful. But it is just a testament to the man. He came back from a bad injury. He did his Achilles, but it also shows the type of person he is. That picture typified him, going up and giving Tom Farrell a hug, which very, very sad, who lost his son last week. And a few of us were down at the funeral, and the family said to us, you have a 16th man, Owen will be cheering you on as well. So it was very special for them. We saw Tom that evening as well, and he thanked us sincerely for it, because it brightened up their day. Obviously it's a tough time for the family, but he sent a message to you, Jack, as well, I think, to say something similar.
Yeah, and like Tom and his family, they're lifelong givers to the GAA. Tom has been involved all his life, and his family have now. Tom is the next chairman of Westmeath County Board and is involved in Leinster GAA now. So I'd repeat what Hez said there. Kind of respect the Farrell family on what they've given to the GAA community, and Maryland community, the broader GAA network, and hopefully we made them proud at the weekend.
Yeah, John, it just seems like the word that keeps coming back when you mention the Farrell family there, and you mentioned the hours and the years that you put in, and the effort that goes in behind the scenes, and the team behind the team, and all this kind of stuff. Just like the last 7 days just seem like a remarkable reward for everybody, both in the county and in a narrower sense than on the team too.
Absolutely, you can. There's so much that goes on. Everyone involved in any team game, but in particular for GAA, whether that be our physios, whether that be our stats team, whether that be people involved in the county board. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that I don't even see half the time. But for us to get onto the pitch and for us to play and us to get into the conditioning that we are to win the Tailteann Cup. There's so many people involved, and you often wonder how can you thank these people. But when you see them at the weekend, that's all they wanted is a win. Celebrations like that. That's how you can thank people for their efforts that they've put in. So just delighted to be able to be involved with something like that and create memories for people.
Yeah, Jack, John mentioned earlier on the bad singers that shamed themselves on stage on Saturday evening. Is there anybody who covered themselves in glory? And what did you happen to get up and sing yourself?
I have my own little party piece now, and it rarely raises its head, but I think Jamie rattles off a good tune, so he does, and he gets us all going. And there's quite a good few singers down there. There's no Joe Dolans, but they're all aspiring to be like Joe. But you never know. There's no show like a Joe show. There is no show like a Joe show, indeed. Did you bust out the white suit at any point, John? You attempted to get the white shirt and tie on as well? No. I stood back. I was just there. I said to Jack, for all the celebrations last few days, I just attended just to look after the young lads, So just behind the scenes, letting them do the job, So responsible and grown up, John Heslin. There we go, lads. It's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you and to kind of bask in the I guess reflective glow of winning that inaugural Tailteann Cup on Saturday, and it's brilliant to see what it's done for the county, and I'm intrigued to see what it does for Westmeath football going forward. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you both, Jack Cooney and John Heslin. Thanks so much for your time this evening. Thanks, really.
Gaelic football on Off the Ball
with AIB, proud sponsors of the GAA Senior Football Championship. Check out #TheToughest for more.